To do whatever she's doing.
Okay. Sorry, we're gonna have to do all of that again because of my.
Okay.
I love technology issues. I don't think anybody's watching, so we're good. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
Why was it? Because we're on starting soon.
Well, no, because this is what they see. But
I understand, but that was the scene.
Oh.
That scene should be muted.
Oh, yes. Got it.
Technology.
This one is not. Okay. Sorry, guys. I feel really bad. Okay, I'm gonna be picking.
Welcome back to Crime Chat.
Just now that you can hear us.
Hillary.
And I'm Lisa. Feeling like an idiot. Yeah. Just hands.
Oh, technology.
Every time I get embarrassed, I feel like to combat the embarrassment, I need to be like extra goofy and dumb.
It's, yeah. People are going to look at you anyway, so might as well make it entertaining. I learned that in whatever.
So what you missed was next week. We won't be going live next week because I'll have my my first grader. It's gonna be on summer break starting next week, and so before she starts camp, there'll be a week where she's at home with me. So I can't go live with her, but I will record a video of my episode, my solo episode. I'll put that on YouTube. I just won't I won't go live because I can't go live during the day with 7-year-olds, especially talking about these kinds of stuff. It's not for her. So,
and since we typically go live every Tuesday at 10:30, summer schedule's going to be a day different. It's going to be on
Wednesday.
Same time.
Because both kids will be at summer camp and I will have the day to myself. So Wednesday's at 10:30. But I mean it's the next day. It's fine. It's okay. That's good. Just for the summer, and then we'll go back to regularly scheduled programming when Lily's in 2nd grade. I don't know why 1st grade and 2nd grade, like, it feels like there's, like, a whole ocean difference. Like, 2nd grade feels so much older. Like, I'm like, what do you mean 2nd grade? Like, are we starting college tomorrow? Like, do we need to get applications ready? Like, what's happening? Like, kindergarten and 1st grade are like, oh, little teeny boppers. But in 2nd grade, I'm like, okay, this is for real, for real. For real, for real. And Holly will be starting kindergarten.
We'll be at the same school, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have an event for kindergartners called Tears and Tacos or something like that. For, like, the girls that are, like, people starting kindergarten. For, like, the moms that are like,
oh.
But then they have, like, breakfast tacos, I guess. Or, like, it's, like, something, maybe not tears, maybe it's, like, tissues and tacos or something like that. I think it's tissues and tacos.
Still.
Better than tears and tacos, but yeah.
What do you call it? Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Bittersweet term.
Anyway.
So, we thank you in advance for liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the videos so that we can grow and do all the fun stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of all the things that we've said now a couple of times, but I think this time it got right.
And if you want extra content,
right.
So we have a Pacer account, which is access to, like, the court documents and things, extra information, very in-depth information. So if you'd like your own special mini-sodes that cover that kind of stuff, you can consider supporting us financially. I think it's $15 a month, and you'll get your own mini-sodes that you can listen to about the stuff that we find on Pacer. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening right now in, like, the true crime world.
Yep.
And so like there's got to be, like, a whole wealth of treasure trove happening on Pacer right now. So I would love to, like, get in there. So
now that we've done all of that,
a couple times,
I think it's time.
It is time. It's time.
It's time.
We're so ready. We're recording. We're streaming. We're live. The mic's on. Everyone can hear us.
All right.
We're good. Yes.
Take 3. Okay. So let's go back to. Can I don't want to mess anything up.
It's temperament. Guys, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. It's all my fault.
Okay. Today's case is the case of April Short. So, in true Hillary format, I need you to imagine yourself as someone else right now.
Okay.
So I need you. Can I push it closer to me? Or are we close? Yeah. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. Imagine you are an U.S. Army Staff Sergeant. Kind of like mid-rank.
Okay.
So you're not a baby, but you're not top dog.
Right.
I don't know why I did it. Whatever. You're in charge of people. You're good at your job. Your people respect you. You live with your wife and 3 children
Okay.
on base at Fort Eisenhower in Georgia.
Am I a man?
You are a man.
Okay.
You are a man for this moment.
Okay.
Be a man. All right. You're on base. You
Okay.
just finished your morning PT, got out of the shower, about to start your actual work day. It's probably around 8 o'clock
Okay.
now, a.m. So if it's early, but you got your blood pumping, you're ready to go. And you get a text from your spouse, your wife.
Okay.
You read it, and your brain doesn't really understand it, so you read it again, and you're like, read it a third time, and your heart stops because something is way off.
Uh-oh. What's wrong, wifey?
What are the charges? I'm jumping. The charges of this case are murder with an aggravating circumstance tied to child abuse, according to the DOJ.
Oh, no.
So wife texts you, 8 a.m., some weird texts, which I will read them to you in a moment.
Okay.
You live on base, so you're very close to home.
Okay. So I'm Russian, right?
Almost.
Oh, okay.
You try to text her back. No response.
Uh-oh.
Within about 10 minutes of getting that first text, now you're getting home. You're getting your butt home. You're like, something's not right. What's going on? You rush home expecting an argument, some kind of scuffle or something, a breakdown, but instead you walk into your worst nightmare.
Oh, no.
This is the case of Army wife April Short.
What did my wife do?
So now you're out of your man,
Okay, I'm not a man anymore.
not a man anymore.
All right.
So, before the crime, we need to understand who these people are. This is where I ran into a lot of snags. I don't even want to say snags, but issues, because this case happened in November of 2023. So it's pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
There are an alarmingly low amount of documents covering this case.
Okay.
It was incredibly hard to dig up anything on April or her husband, James. You were James.
Okay.
You were James. James Short.
I like that name.
And of course there are 3 children, which I understand minors keep them hidden, keep them safe, you know.
But you'd think there'd be more on the adults.
Well, a staff sergeant, you'd think you'd be able to find info
Right. Yeah.
on him or on a convicted murderer, you know, his wife.
Yeah.
There is one photo of all of it, and it is her mugshot. That's it. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what their housing looks like. I don't know anything. And I dug.
That's strange.
It is strange.
Do you think it was another, like, trying to cover up situation?
I don't think so, but it is a very, I don't want to say very, it's an odd, there's odd layers to it. Okay. So April Short was 30.
Okay.
In April of 2023 when this happened. I don't know how old James was. There's not information on him other than I found finally last night. I was still digging. I was like, I need information. There's not anything on them, you know? Mm-hmm. There was a short, like a news reporter blip, I guess, from whoever covers media on base.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're the ones who give out information that everybody's okay with giving out. So this is from Rickabaugh and McCord.
Okay.
It was an article. And this is, quote, Short, meaning James, joined the Army in 2006 as a signal support system specialist. That's a SSSSS.
I'm a s-
And joined the Fort Eisenhower team in 2021 as a drill sergeant,
Okay.
said Leslie J. Ellis Wouters, communications director for the Fort's Cyber Center of Excellence, end quote. That's it. That is all we know about James.
Okay.
We have no background info on any of their...
That's bizarre. Is this case still ongoing or no?
No.
Okay, well, that's weird.
I know.
Huh.
Weird. I know.
Hmm.
So that's it. That's the only background info I have. There are 3 children. There's an 11-month-old, 6-year-old, and 11-year-old.
Okay.
I know the 11-month-old baby is a boy,
Okay.
and the 6-year-old is a girl. I don't know about the 11-year-old.
Okay.
So I'm just going to call them by their ages. 11-month-old, 6-year-old, or 11-year-old.
Got it.
So that's what we know about the family right now. What actually happened?
I'm nervous.
So I have a timeline because of how things happened. We know, I'm assuming there's not a direct time of when James left the apartment. There's not any of that. So I had to dig into when are you supposed to report for duty as a staff sergeant? I did all of that kind of information, and I found on the army.gov website or whatnot, kind of a typical day in the staff sergeant, whatever. So typically they would start their physical training bit of the day about 6 a.m. And then they do that for an hour and a half or so, and then they do hygiene, which is, showering, getting ready, and getting your uniform, blah, blah, blah. And so their day of duty usually starts around 8 o'clock or 8:30.
Okay.
So I'm going based off of that because there's no deposition from him or anything that I could find or any statement from him at all either. So I'm assuming he leaves the house around 6.
Okay.
Because he's minutes from where they live to where his post is.
Okay.
8:01 a.m.
Okay.
April sends James alarming biblical doomsday-ish texts. Quote, "The days of darkness are upon us," end quote.
Oh.
Also includes suggestions that she and he, James, will be together again.
Uh-oh.
So this is very out of character.
Yeah. Oh.
Not normal
she's
for
never
her.
done that? Okay.
No.
That's weird.
That's why it was so what? To him, he literally stopped in his tracks and was like,
Yeah.
huh?
What the heck?
So he tries to text her back. No response, no response. By 8:15 a.m., he's rushing back to the apartment. So he gets home by himself. Doesn't have anybody with him.
Okay.
It's just him. But he rushes in, he's calling for her, and the kids, no response, no response. He gets to the master bedroom. The door is barricaded closed.
Oh, no.
And he hears his 6-year-old daughter crying inside.
Oh, no.
He cannot break through the door. She's got it barricaded that well.
Oh, no.
So then he calls 911 about 9 o'clock. So 3 officers come. Now, what's interesting about this is it's a different kind of criminal support. I don't even know how to say that. It's not just like your typical NYPD or SAPD. It's Army base police officers and things like that. So we have the DACP, which is Department of the Army Civilian Police.
Okay.
So those are your kind of normal blue, we call them, what do they call them? The boys in blue or whatever, the normal police officers kind of on base.
Okay.
But then
I didn't even realize that they had a civilian police.
I didn't either until this case.
Uh-huh.
And then you have another kind of higher up MP officer.
It's military police.
Military police.
Okay.
So you've got you've got the civilian police on base, and then you've got a military police officer, which I'm assuming, again, not very much information, but I'm assuming would handle anything kind of to do with the armed people, like anybody with, like if it were the staff sergeant himself doing this on base kind of thing, they might cover it more than his wife and kids being the civilians.
So because it's wife and kids, it's the DACP.
DACP,
okay,
right.
Got it.
But they still have one of the MP officers there as well.
Yeah.
So there's three officers there. The two... One of the DACP officers stays at the front door.
Okay.
Just to kind of, I guess, make sure nobody runs out or goes in, just kind of secure the scene. And then the other one, Officer Stacy, and the MP officer in Dawson go inside and ask April to come out. And she's like, no. Eventually...
So she's still alive.
She is.
Okay.
There's only one death in this whole case.
Oh, okay. All right.
She survives.
Okay.
She's the perpetrator.
Okay.
April exits the bedroom with the 6-year-old and the 11-year-old.
Oh, baby.
And the officers try to detain her. And she's like, no. And she evades detention from them and walks out the front door and goes to her car with her children.
What? How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Those are my first questions, too.
How?
Yeah.
Like, detain her. Don't let her walk to her car with her other
It gets
kids.
worse in just a few seconds.
Was Bumbling Ron involved in
I
this?
thought that too. I almost wrote that in my notes. I'm like, did we borrow Bumbling Ron?
Did they borrow him from across the pond?
Descendants.
Uh-huh.
So she gets to her car,
Okay.
and the officers are like, "Halt!" I mean, I'm really being
Stop.
facetious.
You totally need to stop right now. Like, for real. Stop, please. No
Please
cap.
don't. No. I can't even. You did it better. So she gets in. She puts the kids in the backseat.
Okay.
She gets in the car. Officer Stacy, remember Officer Stacy? Officer Stacy, one of the DACP,
Okay.
so civilian police officers, goes to the driver's side. So she moves over to April moves over to the passenger side
Okay.
to get away from the officer. So he gets out of the car, comes back over, like he's chasing her out of the car. So she gets back in the driver's side, closes the door, starts it. But by this time, Officer Stacy's like halfway in the passenger side, so he's already like in the car
Oh my god.
where she's trying to drive away.
This is like a cartoon.
It's like, what the? So he finally pulls his weapon. He's like, stop!
So I see like I see in my head like the dun dun dun
Yep.
that music.
And meanwhile, the 6-year-old and the 11-year-old are in the back seat, like, what's happening? Like,
The baby. What happened to 11
I won't gladly. I will tell you though. So finally, she is apprehended at gunpoint at this point because she's like, she won't stop, being a doof.
Your mom said active duty. I don't know what she
Oh, because I was bumbling. I was being a bumbling wrong. So finally she is detained.
Okay.
While this is happening, kind of at the tail end of this, James realizes that's only 2 kids.
Uh-oh.
Where's my baby? He runs back inside the apartment, goes back up to the master bedroom, and listening, makes it to the master bathroom and screams. because there's blood everywhere.
Oh no.
And his 11-month baby boy, call him Baby E because his name starts with E, is wrapped in the plastic shower curtain with many stab wounds, slices to his neck.
Okay.
So all of this has happened by the time the police got there. Got April apprehended finally, and Baby E is found within 10 or 15 minutes. Then, James screams. The other two officers come up there. They take the baby. He is pronounced dead at Dwight D. Eisenhower Army Medical Center at 9:34 a.m. So, that's I will say that's the crime. There are more details that do come out because there is a very small interrogation snippet I found.
Okay.
That I will share with you that is...
Oh, military police care over active duty personnel. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Again, this does have to do with child abuse. Please just keep that in
Trigger
mind.
warning.
If it's too much for you, totally understand.
Warning.
Okay. Now we have the interviews and interrogation. Now, the children are interviewed.
Okay.
Because remember, they were barricaded in the master bedroom with April and Baby E while this all happened.
Okay.
So, detectives and officers forensically interview the children. I didn't get any information from the 11-year-old's interview, but the 6-year-old likes to talk. And I'm sure this is probably, hopefully, the most traumatic thing they have ever been through. So,
And will ever again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we have another timeline. Now, remember, that all happened around 8 to 9:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Interviews and interrogations are pretty quick. They're that day, but
Okay.
later in the evening around 5.
Okay.
And the first interview or interrogation that we have is actually timestamped at 5:04 p.m. and it's of April herself. And some of the statements she makes are, I will say shocking, but you're here, so you know. She admits to the FBI special agent interviewing her that she did barricade the door. She admits to wrapping Baby E in the shower curtain. She admits to attempting to cut E's neck with a knife, but stated it was too dull, so she got a second knife.
What?
She admits knowing her actions were, quote, wrong and evil. And that's all we get from her. At least all we're privy to. And unfortunately, that's not the worst of it.
Oh my god.
Because then you have the 6-year-old's interview.
Oh. Poor baby.
5:40 p.m., the children are interviewed. The 6-year-old states, and these are all pretty much quotes. I'll tell you when they're not. Quote, "Mom got 2 knives," end quote. Another one, Mom, quote, "was going to help E, Baby E, get to God and Jesus," end quote.
I have things to say about that, but okay.
Oh, yes.
I'll
Oh, yes, we
keep
do.
you.
We also have the 6-year-old stating that April said, quote, "Don't come into the bathroom because it might be really scary," end quote.
Mom said that?
Mom said that to the 6-year-old. And I have chills on my body still from that every time I read that. Because,
Like, so you care about your daughter's fear, but you don't give a shit about
the baby.
the baby?
Yep. 6-year-old also states that April took 2 knives with her into the bathroom, told the 6-year-old and the 11-year-old that she cut E, Baby E, so that he could, quote, be with Jesus and God, end quote. And April also, this is from the mouth of the 6-year-old, April also threatened the 6-year-old if she didn't stop crying. She would cut her too.
So, like, you want 11-month-old baby to go to Jesus, but then you're threatening your 6-year-old.
Yeah, it's very, yeah.
With doing the same thing. So what, you wanted to hurt the 6-year-old, but you wanted your baby to go to Jesus? It's just, like, what? What?
Math isn't mathing.
What? Yeah, like, it's not, like...
So there are a lot of... I have so many questions.
I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm trying to, like, I want you to, like,
right.
finish before I, like... But...
And we have... I did get my hands on a couple of affidavits.
I love affidavits.
Me too. Me too. And depositions of court experts.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring you information from them because it matters. And of course, my favorite we leave to last, the ME, because we trust MEs.
I love, yeah.
Typically. And this one I do too. So those are the interrogation and interviews that we have. That's it. Again, there's very little in terms of information that we have on this, but I did my best. So next up, we have the blood splatter expert.
Okay.
His name is Joshua Whiting.
What?
I wrote some pinpoint thoughts down about him that I got from the affidavit on his thing.
Okay.
Because it when you read those, it introduces the expert and like their background and why they're considered an expert of the court and why we're going to trust what he says because he knows what he's talking about, all that kind of stuff. What I found interesting about this blood splatter expert was that he had never before testified in court. Not that that makes him any less credible, but I think it might. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was weird. And he hasn't had any recent publications in the past 10 years. So I'm trying to say, I don't want that to matter to me, but it does.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think it should matter, but it matters. It makes me think that he's not like up to date with stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see why. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm like already laying the groundwork for you to be distrustful of him, but there are some things that don't make sense from his.
Well, as soon as you said this is his first time testifying, I was like, okay, so nobody trusts him because nobody's wanted to hire him ever. So, I mean.
Well, okay, so it goes into it's just some weird stuff in his findings of the crime scene and stuff that don't make sense. And there's not even pictures. Like, I can't tell you, oh yeah, that doesn't match. It's just what anyways. The whole document begins with talking about the different types of blood splatter. Okay. So you have like a blood pool kind of thing and what that would indicate, or you have transfer bloods, all those kinds of different types of blood evidence at a scene and what that might indicate.
Okay.
Or like cast off, like if you're hacking at someone and then the knife casts off and it goes behind you in a specific like teardrop shape and things like that. So it's very informative. I liked that.
Yeah.
That was cool. But then we get to Whiting's reported process of the day, of the scene.
Okay.
And his report is dated November 15th of 2023, so it's right then. I mean, like, he did it, he was there the day it happened, and then he wrote his report. So it's very recent in his mind. So that shouldn't be a detail that makes his findings inconclusive situation,
Right.
So I wrote this out as like a step-by-step thing because I was like, okay, there's a lot of words in this deposition. I'm going to chunk it down as I would do for my students. Yeah. So step 1 in Whiting's process of his scene collecting evidence, clear the residence to process the scene. Makes sense.
Got it.
I agree. I mean, I'm not the expert, but I think that sounds pretty good. I watch a lot of Law and Order.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, you wanted the yeah.
Get the people out of there.
Yep.
Step 2, sketch the layout of the apartment in addition to the master bed and bathrooms. So I thought this was interesting. So I thought, dog just farted. Sorry, I thought that was funny. I was like, interrupted my thoughts. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's good police work, right? You sketch the whole layout, but then specifically go to the rooms and be more detailed about that room.
Mm-hmm.
So master bedroom and master bathroom. Okay, makes sense. Step 3, note conditions of each room in the apartment. And if I remember correctly, and I have the document also, but it's like, note the weather conditions of the rooms.
What?
And I thought that was an interesting
You mean the
choice
temperature?
of words. Maybe
Weather?
temperature and like humidity.
Is it raining?
I don't know. So I thought that was an interesting one too. But
Okay.
so far he's just like visually assessing, right?
Okay.
I
mean, it's thorough, I guess, so that's good.
Yeah. And step 4, photograph the scene. Whilst, I like to add the whilst, audio recording visual findings. So I imagine this to be like him either with a video camera or a voice recorder while taking pictures.
Yeah.
Something like that. Makes sense? I like it. Makes sense. Step 6, use super glue fuming to lift fingerprints. Didn't know they did that on the scene. Again, I watch a lot of Law and Order, and I figured they just did that at their labs.
Well, you have to get the fingerprints off of whatever
Right.
thing.
With tape. I don't know. This is my ignorance here. Anyways, he was unsuccessful with that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. First time unsuccessful in this moment. Step 7, use alternative light source, like a black light, probably, to locate blood on clothing and other surfaces.
Makes sense.
Negative results. Yeah. Step 8.
But there was blood. What?
Yeah.
But there was lots of blood.
Yeah. Step 8. Conduct a bloodstain pattern analysis in the apartment. There were 7 distinct bloodstains of the satellite, transfer, and pooling stain categories. So, again, transfer would be like you stepped on it and walked away.
Yeah,
and
or
then the walk away would be...
You dragged a body, right? Would that be transfer too, or...?
No,
okay.
Transfer's like, it didn't happen there, but it dripped somewhere else, or it
okay.
stepped somewhere else.
Like
I don't think dragging's that's a different one. We have it.
Okay.
We have all of them here. Like there are pictures, but I'm not going to show you on YouTube. Then we have cast off, which would be like the blood droplets from a very violent attack. And they have distinct shapes of the droplets depending on where the attack happened.
That's
versus where the attacker and the attackee are, that kind of thing.
Oh.
So it's very obvious to experts where such crimes would have happened if that's what happened, right?
Cool.
So, swipe stain. A swipe stain would be what you're talking about.
Okay,
It would be like the dragging or trying to wipe it. And then the blood pooling would just be So we're looking at the document. It does have pictures, not of the case, just of examples. And then sub thought after the 7 distinct blood stains of the crime scene, blood splatter in the bathroom did not show a pattern of cast off staining.
Okay.
Meaning that the knife wasn't
she wasn't like flailing it around,
right maniacally like
yeah.
It wasn't
it was probably like more precise because she's probably like right on the baby, right? So it wouldn't
right, and you're like 6 times the size of an 11-month-old.
Oh my god.
So you can very easily overpower him. Ugh.
Oh, and yesterday I just saw a picture from Facebook Memories that was Lily when she turned 11 months old.
Why don't you tell me these things? I could have warned you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I like not knowing anything.
That's true. That's
because
true.
I like the organic reaction,
Yep.
so it's fine.
So it is indicative of not a violent attack, which is really hard to understand.
Yes.
When you're slicing the throat of your baby and stabbing him, how that isn't violent. But those are the words that were used. And then he continues to move, to other locations to conduct his analysis or continue his analysis. There was no blood found in the car. But she went directly from the crime scene to the car.
Okay.
So how?
Did she change?
Don't know.
Did they find clothes?
There was no blood on the clothes. So there's a lot of...
Was she naked when she did this?
a lot of weird things.
Honestly, if I was going to murder somebody, I probably would do it naked. Because then I wouldn't get blood on clothes.
It's true. Right? But, yeah. But then
I would never murder anybody.
You would probably have more opportunity to get hurt yourself.
Yes.
At least there's a tiny bit of a barrier between you and your body with clothes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I have some issues with SSA, super secret agent, I don't know, whiting, because I don't see how this is possible. Some of it, okay, I definitely could see that.
Yeah.
But some of it's like, it's impossible. How is there no blood detected?
He seems a little bumbling to me.
He does.
So, I mean, maybe not as bumbling as Ron, but, but still.
I would get a second opinion.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the first time he's testifying in court. Like, there's probably reason for that. Like, there's probably, like, people talk, right? It's probably like, oh, this guy's not very thorough, or this guy's not very good at his job, this guy's not very credible, so he's not going to be used by a lot of people. Because, there's experts that every attorney uses the same expert because they're so good at what they do, or like every single case you want to use the same people that are going to be great in court. So if this guy has zero court experience at all, that has to mean something. Like people know that he's not very good, and
he's not a newbie in his field.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. So that is
How old is this guy?
Blood splatter expert. He is I will tell you. What is blood splatter? We know what blood splatter is here. Expert! SSA Joshua Whiting is a special agent with the Army Criminal Investigative Division, Fort Eisenhower, Georgia. Whiting will be called on... Okay, blah, blah, blah.
Does he even say his age?
It should. Procedural history.
Because I'm just remembering when we lived in Dallas and I worked for Law Office of John Stillwell. We used a medical expert, but he was like getting older, and so we started to like notice over time like his stuff started to kind of like the quality was going down a little bit, and which I mean, no fault of his own. He's just getting older, right? And so he was like, it was time for him to retire, which he did do eventually, but
good for him though.
He tried to hold on as long as he could, but like it was noticeable. There was like some decline, which I mean I feel bad because he was a really nice man, but it happens to all of us,
Well, yeah, you're not as sharp, all the time, and that's...
So that's why I was wondering if this guy was old, because maybe that could explain some of the bumblingness.
It doesn't say. I thought it did. I don't know where that was in my head, but it doesn't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
No. This is it on blood splatter. I'm moving on to the ME next. No, it doesn't say. But this is it's a court document I found. Notice of intent to assert insanity. Oh yeah, she tried to plead insanity too. And to introduce expert evidence of mental disease and defect, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, no, it didn't say. Okay. So, that's the blood splatter expert.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the prosecution's having a rough time.
Yeah. I mean, also, I'm wondering if you can only use experts of the military variety
Oh,
in a military-based case.
that makes sense to me that they would have their own pool of people that they use.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I would assume you would need somebody with the not only the experience in what you want, but also military background and
Right.
experience. So they so you can understand that aspect of it
Right.
too.
Which,
I'm
if
assuming.
you're looking for a job, probably one in high demand is those very specific niche areas. Blood splatter experts in the military. So, moving on from him to our wonderful ME, medical examiner, and the autopsy findings. I left.
Every time I hear about an ME report or like you share one, I'm always like, man, it'd be so cool to be a medical examiner, but I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
I could not.
I think,
especially with children, I couldn't.
What's weird though is that like I feel like I'd be scared. Like I don't know. Like I like I have like the horror movies in my head. Like is
Where
this,
they wake up.
are they
Yeah.
gonna come to life? Is it gonna like the one we saw where that was like the witch or something. She was like the witch descendant or something. They were doing her exam and she was like causing a bunch of like crazy stuff to happen, and then at the end she like gets the old man medical examiner to like feel what she was feeling, and he was like burning from the inside.
I do not remember that.
You don't
one.
remember that at all? Okay. Well, yeah.
We've
and
watched
then like
hundreds of scary movies together.
yeah, we used to have scary movie night every Saturday. We've replaced it with this podcast, but yeah, we used to watch scary movies together. It was during the pandemic. I was like, but I want to see you, and so we would watch. I don't even like scary movies, but I know she does.
I got
and
her
so I
onto
was
them.
like, yeah, it's just to hang out, and then I'd be all scared on my corner in my house on the screen, like.
I don't remember that though. Yeah, I don't know. There's a weird fear. I don't know. Just an unknown presence when you're in the presence of death. And like.
Yeah.
Like at a funeral, kind of thing. It's so bizarre. It's a bizarre, for me, it's a bizarre feeling. So I think that's something that you definitely have to, if you're in that field, you have to, I don't know. That's a special person. It takes a special person to do those kinds of jobs.
Yeah. But it's always so interesting.
It is. It's
like I want to
fascinating.
know everything that an ME knows without having to like cut into bodies myself.
Yeah.
Or look at bodies myself.
Yeah.
I just want to have the knowledge. Like I love learning about all different kinds of things, but this is something that's so fascinating to me. Like I just want to know. I want to know.
Yep.
I want to know everything.
Yep. Or like I don't know if you ever watched NCIS.
Sometimes, yeah.
So the Emmy on that one is Ducky. I love him. I love him so much. But he talks to his patients, you know, his corpses. And I think that might be a way to normalize what you do, is that I don't know. Anyways.
And to honor the person, the dead person, Anyway, sorry, I keep leaving us on tangents today.
So our lovely ME today in this case is Dr. Dory Mitchell Franco.
Okay.
And her autopsy report is dated of February 28th, 2024. So this has now, her report has been 3 months almost later. And I never really understand that.
Okay.
Because...
Well, it takes a while to, I think, like, because we mentioned this for, like, government stuff, like,
True.
Everything takes longer than you think it would take, or should take.
The body is going to decompose.
Yeah.
So you do the autopsy right then, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So would your report not be, like, very quickly after?
I mean, so there's, like, doing the autopsy, but then you gotta, like, write it out, and then you gotta get it reviewed, and then, like, I feel like, the process afterward of getting it out there. But I'm assuming they would do the autopsy as soon as they could.
Right.
I mean, that's why they keep morgues so cold, is to keep bodies preserved.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not gonna last forever.
Exactly,
They can't just, like, slack
indefinitely.
off or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always find that interesting when we do these, and I see the date of the autopsy report, and I'm like, that can't be the date of the autopsy, right? Like, that can't be. It's not possible.
No, I don't think so. I think the autopsy happens like pretty quickly, but then it takes a while to get the report done and reviewed and sent out. So I think. I have no idea, but
because they probably already had a funeral. He's been buried. All that kind of stuff is going through my head. I'm like, I don't understand. Anyways, that's insignificant information. It's just my brain goes there. So we have pages of her report here. I have summarized what she found.
Okay.
Her summary of baby E's wounds and last moments are that he sustained multiple, quote, sharp force injuries to the neck, end quote, shown in the patterns of soft tissues, hemorrhaging, bruising kind of situation. So she was holding him tight. I mean, yeah, who's not going to squirm and try to get away from you if you're stabbing him? Linear abrasions, so lines. Abrasions are more like bruises too, though, so I imagine that might have been the dull knife that didn't work.
Yeah, because like the blade of the knife would be a line, but if it's dull, it doesn't go in, so it just bruise. The sharp forces resulted in injuries to E's, quote, skin, left anterior neck muscles, left carotid artery, which was that specific one, the left carotid, that's what killed him. That was the dying blow that got him. The left vagus nerve, the left lobe of the thyroid, and to the 6th and 7th cervical vertebrae. She didn't need to do all that. Quote. She didn't need to do all that. I read that, and like as she kept writing, this is pages and pages, but I was pulling specific parts like that from it, and I was like, you got to, okay. I don't know how deep things are because I haven't ever opened up the body, but you got the skin, you got the artery, you got... Is this in order of how deep things are? I get. That's what I'm trying to get at. You got the thyroid. Because the carotid is pretty deep in there because the body like protects itself or whatever. So it's gonna put the most sports stuff really deep in there. That's like the heart's protected by the cage, stuff like that. So I'm assuming the carotid is pretty deep in there. And so your thyroid and your cervical. But yeah, to get to the bones, that was forceful. She had to use force. I mean, the bones are under the carotid, so. Yeah. Right. I'm imagining, this is so morose, but I'm imagining cutting, a chicken apart to do fried chicken, right? And you have to use force to get through joints and things and some of the fibrous tissues and stuff. Yep. And that's not moving. Yeah. So I can only imagine she had to hold him. I mean, he was wrapped in the shower curtain. But still, I mean... I'm assuming after a while he would have passed out. Yeah. Maybe. Either from blood loss or just like sheer terror. Golly. But so like he would have stopped moving eventually before he passed, but like okay. Yeah. So those are the wounds and things that caused his death. Okay. There was no drugs, no alcohol in his system. Okay. Which probably would have been a mercy to him if she would have given him some Benadryl or something, but nope. Wounds on his forearms and right lower leg were most likely postpartum. Meaning they were trying to resuscitate. Oh, okay. Because with a baby, you hold it upside down, kind of head this way. And boom, boom, boom. Anyways,
Take CPR, please. Know how to resuscitate everybody. But that's it, you know. That's not it, but that's the findings of the autopsy and his.
She says send tissue samples to pathology. Abrasions are like scratches and then suffocation.
There's no signs of suffocation. His death was caused by the cuts and the stabs.
She wanted to talk about the postmortem things, but that would have been from resuscitating him,
right. Trying to hold him the right way, and and unfortunately he's probably slippery from blood, so you have to hold him tight to, you know. So that's the ME. Thank you, Dr. Dory Mitchell Franco. Manner of death, it's homicide. I mean, she is very, very clear on that. Not an accident. Now, we're at the ending sequence of my thoughts and stuff. Case-wise, her legal team filed for her defense, I guess, to be insanity. Like they were trying to go for
I mean, that's really
defense.
the only play at this point.
Right.
That's the only play. That's the only thing they have, right? Is like, she's insane. Because she clearly did it. She's clearly guilty. Right. So it's got to be insanity.
There was a court-ordered psych eval, which apparently found reasonable cause to believe mental disease or defect affecting competency. So there's backup there, I guess, to the defense of insanity. According to DOJ, the federal indictment they originally arrested her on was premeditated felony murder.
Okay.
That's what she was arrested with.
Okay. So premeditated isn't she planned it?
Right. I mean, she got the knives. She
planned it. Yeah. Then she can't be insane because she had the forethought.
Right.
To plan it. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't an instant of, kind of thing. She took a plea deal. She agreed to second-degree murder.
Second-degree murder? Why are we giving people plea deals? I understand that it's all about it's all about the win. It's all about the results to these fucking attorneys. And I'm sorry, other mommy in the audience, for cussing. I really am. But
she did it. She did it. So why are we giving her a deal?
Why?
Yeah.
Just have some humanity. This woman killed her 11-month-old son in like the worst way. That was the thought that I had too, was like, if you wanted to send him to heaven, there's more gentle ways of doing that.
If that's your thinking. Yeah.
Like, you don't have to
viciously
murder and stab them to death. You can like give them too much Benadryl, or like, I don't know, like
so many other ways. Please don't get ideas.
Yeah, I mean, don't. I'm not inciting anything, but if you absolutely must send your infant to heaven, like there's gentler ways to do so. That was my first thought when you were talking about this. I was like, there's better ways to do this.
Well, and there are cases, sadly, abundant amount of cases of just that, other terrible, I say terrible, but psychologically not well parents, usually psychologically not well parents doing that. Suffocating or drowning or drugging or shooting. I mean, they're all terrible. Don't do it. Love your children. Walk away if you're mad.
Even John List, he shot his kids while they weren't looking at him. Like, even John List had the
quick death.
Had the decency.
Oh gosh.
I mean, if you can call it that. Yeah. But just what?
We need to stop giving plea deals. We just need to stop.
Yeah.
It's not like we needed information from her to bargain with her. We knew she did it. What was there to gain from offering her a lesser sentence? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So she goes to prison. She's sentenced to 20 years in prison.
That's it.
with financial penalties, don't know why, and 5 years after that of supervised release.
Okay, so she got off with like a slap on the wrist compared to like the crime she committed. It's just I hate. And this goes back to the case last week. I understand that it's moms, and I understand that some moms have emotional stuff going on.
Right.
But if you commit a heinous crime against a child, it does not matter that you're the mom, okay? It does not matter that that child was birthed from your body. If you do something horrific to them, the sentence needs to match the crime. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter that you're the mom. It doesn't matter that you had postpartum depression and I just couldn't handle it. I don't care. I don't care. You need to go away for the rest of your life. I don't want to hear that you're out somewhere.
On good behavior.
Or on good behavior. No, none of that.
Mm-mm.
There's no deals, nothing.
I'm with you.
Totally. You horrifically stabbed a child. You're gone now, forever. That's it. That's it. It's not any more complicated than that. And that's what I said like a couple weeks ago. We're making this stuff too complicated. It's really not that complicated. It's really not.
The thing is, when we throw, you have lawyers, I'm assuming, again, we don't have a lot of information on this case, which is interesting to me, but I'm thinking it has to do with the fact that it is a military orchestrated case or military covered case. I don't even know how to say that, but they're taking care of it. And the military is very, we take care of our own kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is
fine.
But
they also cover stuff up, like with your girl who was clearly murdered. They were like, oh, no, suicide.
Lavana?
Yes, yeah. Lavana Johnson. By the way, I have a hot take from Paul, but we can get into that.
Okay. So we're almost, at the end here, I'm like, I have questions.
Yes.
I have questions and confusions. Did April have a background of mental instability, or was this something that was just like all of a sudden?
Where did this come from?
Exactly. Was she suffering from
somebody?
postpartum?
Was she getting influenced by somebody?
Did she have a therapist? Was she talking to a counselor? What was her childhood or family like growing up?
Was she in a cult?
Were her parents super strict religious? That kind of thing. Was she abused? And I asked all of those things, and I specifically was thinking, not that it excuses anything.
It doesn't, yeah.
But it does help understand her state of mind going forward.
Especially because it's so random.
Completely uncharacteristic.
Like, I want to know if, like, she had met somebody recently who, like, convinced her,
Right.
Like, that one mom that, I don't even remember her name, but she's in prison right now for, like, she met this guy who, like, had her convinced that some people are, like, bad aliens or whatever, and so convinced her that 2 of her kids were, and so they, like, shot 2 of her kids and, like, buried them on his property, and she's, she's in prison, and she did an interview recently.
Great.
She's a treat. But anyway.
Well, there's no information. Also, how was her marriage? Were they okay? Were they having problems? My whole point is, was she under a lot of stress that made her snap? Was she like, I just need to get rid of one problem right now, and now it's a crying baby? I don't know.
Did she snap, or was this like she was hiding it,
right,
and building up to like this culmination of like, okay, the world's gonna end. I gotta send my baby off to heaven. My other kids, though, I mean, they can like whatever, they can figure it out.
Yeah,
but the baby needs to go to heaven in the most horrific way possible.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be with your baby in heaven. Like, if that was your plan.
And what was interesting, the second text she sent James was that she and he would be together soon. Just them two.
Oh. Okay.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Anyway, that kind of stuff. But they also, the thought that, after I had the thought of, how's their marriage? Are they struggling? But then he very quickly caught on that this is not right. So I feel like, again, don't have info, but I feel like he was quick to realize something's wrong. I need
Yeah.
to be home.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, she's just being weird. Get back to work, kind of thing.
She does this every Tuesday.
Right. I mean, so I feel like he was good.
Yeah.
And that leads me to, where are their kids now? The 6-year-old and the 11-year-old. Are they safe? Does he have sole custody? Are they still married? I hope she doesn't have visitation rights.
Well, she is the mom, so
yeah.
probably. Lisa McDaniel, like I said, she's still living with grandchildren. And she's not in prison for this. They're not even investigating it quickly. This is what I'm saying. Like, I get that it's the mom. Okay. But some moms just don't deserve to see their children, to have their children. Like, we need to, take the veil off the... a lot of people are like, oh, you're doing great, mama. You're so, good on whatever. But, you don't really know that. You don't see behind closed doors. She could be a shit mom.
That's true.
She could be hitting her kids.
She threatened
could stab her
her 6-year-old if she didn't stop crying.
Yeah, that's not a good mom. Oh, mama, you're so tired. You're so tired. We need to stop with that. Okay? That's my soapbox.
PSA.
Sorry.
So,
soapbox time.
Fun. I find it fascinating. Last week, there's been an update.
Wow.
Last week, April, from prison,
Okay.
filed a motion to have her case dismissed.
What?
Yeah. Last week.
Goody.
On the 13th.
Goody. What was
May
the
13th.
reason? What was her reason?
She doesn't have a reason.
Oh, okay.
She wants her case vacated.
Been in prison for a little bit now, and I'm tired of it.
Yep.
And I bet you she'll get somebody to take her side too, because she's the mom. Oh, but I'm just very mentally unwell, and
A moment of.
I'm so sorry for what I did, and I feel better now that I don't have this baby anymore. So
give it up for freaking adoption. Ah! So, I also learned
what?
When I don't even know which document I was reading on this, where I learned this, but you can't get paroled in federal felony cases. It's not possible.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So that's probably why she's like,
oh, yeah? I just want to dismiss it.
I'm not feeling
it never
it.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right where you belong, April.
Yeah, no. Stay there forever. We don't want to see your face. Ever.
So, what I was finding ridiculously difficult about researching this case, every time I would even type in April Short case or April Short anything, I would just get YouTube shorts because the word short is in it. I'm like, I don't want that. Her name is April Short.
That's annoying.
It was really annoying, but there's so little information at all. And so it was difficult, but I'm glad I found what I found. I was able to I took to Reddit. I think I told you that. I finally have enough Reddit karma. If you're not familiar with Reddit, you have to be you can't just hop on one day and be like, all of this information. You have to be involved in it so people know you're credible and you're not just a bot and things like that. So I was finally able to post about April either this morning or last night and ask, does anybody have any credible information or documents or sites or sources leading to her or anything about her past or how her husband is right now. Let me look. I will read to you so far what we have. Bum, ba-da-bum.
I can't. I can't believe, and we just let these moms just
So,
That motion better be, like, destroyed
I think it was already denied.
with fire. Okay,
I
good.
think so.
Okay, good.
So the first Redditor that commented on my post, SG Hannah, unfortunately, from what I can find, and likely it is at least the same information you have found, the publicly available information does not give information about previous or recent behavior or concerns as much as that could help understand what happened.
Okay.
I assume that at least part of this issue is that the events and housing were all on military base.
Yeah.
So even if this information is known, the details are behind government privacy safeguards.
Yep.
I don't see anything that would indicate that any of these details would be in court testimony or evidence either. Initially, she pled not guilty by reason of insanity and was treated for 2 months in a federal facility where she responded dramatically to medication for psychosis.
Huh.
Then she pled guilty to the murder. Her treatment records are covered under HIPAA privacy laws, and while these records could have been entered into evidence in a trial, that did not happen because she pled guilty.
Okay, so that's why we can't
Makes
see
sense.
it either. Okay.
Unless she gives permission for these details to be released and discussed publicly, we will not know the details of her illness/psychosis or her treatment. Her husband may speak to what he experienced if he chooses, and her other 2 older children could do that when they are older if they want, but we don't have access to anything else right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the second one just said, this one is Rog, that person. As she pleaded guilty, the public will probably never know. So that's all I got.
Well, those are good comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
That's April Short.
it really, really just pisses me off to no end. Especially because like us, just normal regular moms that would never dream of doing anything like that.
Dog barking in someone else's yard, and the dogs have to be aware.
Sometimes we feel like we're bad moms, you know? Like we feel like we're like down on ourselves and stuff, like we're doing something wrong. And then the cases like this make me feel just a tiny bit better. Because at least I'm not stabbing
You're not stabbing
kids,
your kids,
but,
Jane.
but still.
Or
Like,
threatening your child to stab them.
yeah, or like, you better keep quiet or I'm gonna stab you like I'm stabbing your little brother. Like, what? What?
Don't come in the bathroom because it might be really scary.
Like, you're gonna say that, but then also threaten to, like, kill her if she...
Shut up or I'll stab you too. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, a psychotic break kind of fits. I can see that. Where she's going like, so... But what led to it is, what was the...
Yeah, especially the dark days
Yeah.
text message. Like, that seems culty to me.
Right.
Like, I feel like she, like, had somebody maybe in her ear or something talking about, or, like, she went to some weird church or something. I don't know. But, I mean, we're never going to know anything.
Nope.
All we can do is speculate, but...
The days of darkness are upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was a happy Memorial Day and Mother's Day month.
Mother's Day month. Not all moms are good moms.
But it's not that hard to not kill people.
Yeah, it really isn't that hard.
So,
that one was rough.
it was rough. Yeah.
Mine was rough last week, though, too. So.
I mean, honestly, cases of killer moms are pretty rough. Because
Yeah.
it has to do with kids.
Yeah. And,
Anything
like,
with
it's not even
kids.
just kids, it's their kids.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
The ones that they should be protecting at their life, using their life for protection kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, like, it's just weird to me because, like, being a mom with my girls with me all the time, like, I just, it's hard to wrap my brain around that. I mean, they did open heart surgery on Lily, and they explained the procedure to me because I wanted to know every single detail.
Yeah.
And they had to, like, stop Lily's heart to fix it. And, like, I wanted them to stop mine because, like, she had just started using hers. You know? So, like, it's just, like, it's hard to, like, have that mindset, but then, there's moms that, like, will just stop their kids' hearts because they're sick of them, or they have, I mean, I understand the postpartum depression can get so bad to where, like, it turns into, I mean, I know somebody who, like, was literally, like, having hallucinations, and, like, she just had an actual psychotic break and had to go to, like, a thing. Like, that happens, but there's gotta be some kind of maternal instinct still in there.
To protect your child at all
Somewhere.
costs.
Yeah. You know? Just,
Yep.
I don't know. Like there's the this not just kind of related, I don't know. Anyway, there was this Criminal Minds episode where like this there was a like some kind of gas was like making people like hallucinate like scary stuff, and so they were like defending themselves, and then like some of them were like murdering like people that were nearby because they thought they were monsters. And one of the dads had the gas, but then like the only other person in his house was his kid.
Yeah.
And he slit his own throat. Cause like there's still, you know what I mean? Like there's still that instinct,
innate,
paternal, maternal instinct in there. Like some part of him still understood that this is my child.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm gonna kill my kid, so I'm just gonna kill myself instead. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Golly. Well, that is the end of this case. Next week is your solo episode, so we won't be live.
Yes.
Just a reminder.
I'll put a video out there because I'll have Lily during the day with me next week, so I won't be able to go live, but I will put the video out, and we'll still be doing social media stuff, and there will still be so this episode will come out on the audio on Tuesday, and then my solo will come out the following Tuesday as the audio episode.
And then it's June, and you know what June is?
Ted Bundy time!
Ted Bundy deep dive. So we'll do 3 to 4 weeks on him. Similar to like the Diddy deep dive and the Epstein deep dive, but not as long.
Yeah. Yeah. We still have to organize that.
Yes.
But you know, we're just, I feel like we're just like going off the cuff here, like we're just like, you know,
Let's say fair. It's just you know,
we're just chatting. But the deep dives are a little bit more, obviously they're more structured because we plan the episodes and we plan what we're going to talk about and whatever. But,
right.
Yeah.
It's a tiny bit more scripted, I think, because I don't say it has to be, but it's more document driven. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we want to make sure that we don't say stuff that's for like another episode in the series, and so like it's more, you know, we're talking about just these things, and then
anyway. Yeah. So also we haven't talked about our lovely things yet, so we have merch still if you're interested. We have on our Facebook page, we have the whole merch menu. We have, this is probably my favorite. I love this mug so much. It has you can choose the colors inside.
Yeah.
But I love the orange with it.
Orange looks really good. Blue looks really good. It's like a tealy blue. It looks really good too.
We also have, oh, it's not in here, the tote, which I'm using as just my kind of purse right now. Love it.
It's super cute.
And then we have the black and white mug.
I didn't bring it with me.
You didn't.
Oops.
We have, oh gosh, we have so many. We have a tumbler. We have, what else do we have?
Hillary's in charge of all that, by the way. So she's been doing an amazing job with all that.
Pop socket.
Pop socket.
I love it so much.
That was our first thing, right? That came out.
It was. Yeah. And because it's a pop socket brand, you can actually literally pop these top parts off and change them. You want to. And we have options where I chose the adhesive one, but there's also magnetic choice. There's lots of choices.
Nice.
And we have a shirt. We have, I think that covers it right now. If you would like a specific merch item, or one of our,
or if you have an idea for
let us know.
Something. Yeah, let us know.
I love designing them. I think they're so much fun, and it's so cool when they come and I'm like, I made that. That's our thing.
So we're having lots of fun.
We are. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and chatting.
Yeah.
We really appreciate participation.
Sorry about the deep dark case today too.
Yep.
It's a lot, but
Was
it's like I said before, these kinds of things need to be discussed. I need to be talked about.
Absolutely.
I need to be brought to light because they're horrendous and horrific, and these people exist in the world, and they are in the world, and a lot of them, you know, like the mom that I talked about last week, she's still out. She's out. She's doing stuff, and she's got grandchildren with her, and whatever. It's just like
it shouldn't be allowed.
like does nobody care about
We should
those
be protecting
children?
the children.
Yeah,
Yes.
like what are we doing? And she had a prior conviction too. Like what?
Just change states and you're fine.
Yeah, just go to a different state. We don't talk to each other. That's how Bundy didn't get caught for such a long time, because he kept like state hopping. Anyway.
And he was just charming and whatever. But we'll get to him. So I think that's kind of it. You can find all of our show notes on, where do you put those?
Oh, on our podcast website. So when the audio episode comes out, I'll put show notes with the episode. Show notes are like what we cover, sources too, and then like if there's like resources that we're recommending if you want more information, and then we have like a support the show section, so that's when all the links are if you want to give us like some tips or financial tips or something. You can also give us, you know, just tips like, hey, like, you know, stop talking about this, or you should do this, or Lisa,
Make
stop
sure your
doing
mic
this.
is unmuted.
Yeah, seriously, like, whoa, that was embarrassing. Yeah,
So,
I'm learning. I'm doing the best I can.
But I think
I am sorry about that though, and I'm like, should I take the video down and then edit it and then re-upload it? I'll leave the rest of it, but I just want to erase the first part. Yeah.
Maybe.
Extra work for me. Yeah, love that for me.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
I guess we'll wrap it up. See you in a couple of weeks, because again, next week we're not going live. It'll just be Lisa's I don't know case.
Yep. You can still watch me, but it'll be pre-recorded.
Right.
Oh.
Sorry, I hit pop. Anyways, while I fall apart. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.